Edition of the Buddy Martin Show, Rent Star Wednesday, along with Main Street Community Bank. I'm Buddy Martin. The program airs Monday through Thursday and now on Sunday mornings, the Orange and Blue Blood program. So tonight we got special guests for you. HBC plus the Mr. College Football and David Moulton. All in one program, folks. It's on. Let's talk about some Gator sports. All right, you ready?
I'm again for Buddy Martin. Call him up and tell him what you're thinking. But be kind because he's doing the best he can.
Better, stronger, faster.
Mama says that alligators are ornery because they got all them teeth but no toothbrush.
Hey, what if the voice calls while you're gone?
Take a message.
Bye.
You ready, champ?
I'm ready for this my whole life.
I'm incapable of small talk. But that's why you love me, right?
Kind of intimidating to be in the presence of so many great athletes.
Good evening and welcome to another program. I'm Buddy Martin. The program is called The Buddy Martin Show. That makes sense, I'm sure. Glad to be with you tonight. Just got back from the Ocala Quarterback Club hearing Chris Doring speak. I'll tell you what he had to say. Tonight on the program, the head ball coach gives a little twist here. He likes the number 12 ranking. Now, some of you out there are nervous, Nelly, biting on your fingernails, worried it's too high. I've heard from you for the last 48 hours. Oh no, we're not that good. Well, we'll see about that. But it is what it is, and it's exciting. Things are really getting heated up around here on our show and other shows. So it's going to be a good show tonight. We're going to get right to Coach Spurrier, who had an interesting take. And then we've got Mr. College Football, Tony Barnhart. And then we've got David Moulton. And my gosh, talk about some home run hitters. We got them. Speaking of home runs, last time I looked around, it was the Tampa Bay Rays leading in this game. 1-0, so we'll keep you updated on that. So, here, not for baseball. I know you're here to talk Gators. Let's get right to our sponsor, Meldon Law, talking about a special thing that folks at Meldon Law are doing these days.
A breaking story, okay?
All right.
So this year, my wife Patricia and I are chair people for the Alzheimer's Association. And Meldon Law was founded in 1971. So for every free throw made this year by both the men's basketball team and women's basketball team, Meldon Law is donating $19.71 to the Alzheimer's Foundation.
Nice. What's the 1971? When you started the law firm?
Yes.
Very good. That's a great story and a great idea. And it couldn't be for a better cause, because we know how devastating that disease is to a lot of people and families. Congratulations. I'm proud of you.
Well, thank you.
Meldon Law, where you met him most, they do a terrific job on things like that. That reminds me that another sponsor, Winstar Medical Research, is always doing these clinical trials, including Alzheimer's and things of that nature. So check them out. Go to their website, rentstar.net, and see what they've got to offer right now. I think they're running one on, I believe it's psoriasis, but I'll get that for you in just a minute. Meanwhile, let's do this. Let's get started on the program. The head ball coach, what are his thoughts about being ranked, and how about them Gators? Well, here's what he had to say. Pleasure. Welcome back to the program. Coach Steve Spurrier. Steve, I got a picture of you talking to Billy Napier. It looks like you were at the restaurant, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, talking about something. Talk about your relationship and how much you talk to him and what and well, first of all, that, and then secondly, my goodness, what happened last weekend?
Okay, yeah, I got to know Billy a little bit. I didn't know him much at all till he got here. Certainly had an outstanding record there at University of Louisiana, the old Southwest Louisiana. They're still the Racing Cajuns, I know that.
Yeah, they are.
So anyway, yeah, he did an excellent job there and earned a chance to be coach here at Florida. And I think everything he's done so far, the whole Gator Nation has been in much approval. I mean, we got a lot of people working here, and they all know their position, their jobs, and certainly the players are guys with wonderful attitudes right now. We talked about last year's team. We had bad attitudes and bad effort, and you have no chance when that happens. And I think that's two things Billy Napier's teams will have is the attitude, the effort. They'll all be accountable and responsible for their assignment the best they can and go from there. So it was a wonderful start. Obviously, Anthony Richardson, we all knew the ability, the God-given talent that young man possesses, and he used it wisely, and hopefully we can keep him healthy the entire season. And I think we will. I think they run more in practice than maybe they used to. And I think the team will be in tip-top shape, throughout the season.
Does Anthony Richardson remind you of anybody?
No, somebody told me the other day he runs like Lamar Jackson and passes like Tom Brady. That's a pretty good combination.
Yeah, I'd say, yeah.
But obviously he hasn't gone back here and made decisions throwing the ball a lot yet. But he's just a natural when he takes off running. I mean, it's not like, let's see, nobody's open, I think I'm going to run. I mean, he's just got instincts. And that play for the 2-point play the other day, Mike, I've never seen that. I asked Lee McGriff the other day, you ever seen that? We've all seen a guy pump and a guy jump, and then he runs on. But he jumped and did a whirly bird and got two of them up in the air. And most people, he thrown the ball away. The two defenders said, well, he threw it somewhere, didn't he? No, he's running over there throwing it for the 2-point play. And that was one of about 7 or 8 plays that won the game for us. Without that, obviously, I think Utah got down there and they just eased the ball right in the middle and kicked the field goal to win the game. But since we were up 3, they thought they had time to go for the touchdown, and they threw it. And our guy Bernie made a heck of a play for the interception to win the game. So there were so many, if this play doesn't happen, we're a loser. If this one doesn't happen, we're a loser. And they all went our way. So obviously the quarterback, the coach, the team, we get a lot of praise right now. And in the long run, when you have games like that, it's hard to win all of them, but it was a wonderful start for all the Florida Gators.
Certainly was. That 2-point play, he found Jaquavion Frazier's in the end zone, and threw a bullet. And you're right, the escapability of him and the way he can make plays is something that we haven't seen for a long time around here. Well, what about this 12th ranking? Is it too high? I was looking at some of your stuff. You started out, I think, unranked in 96, I believe. Tell me about that.
1990.
1990, yeah.
Yeah, we were unranked the first week. I know that. And then we clobbered Okie State. And I think we jumped to 20, 22, or something, I'm not sure. But we were ranked after beating Oklahoma State 50-7. So we were just 1 week not ranked. And I actually told Billy when he got the job, I said, you got a chance to do what we did back in 90. Yeah. We weren't ranked the first week, and we had a decent opponent, Oklahoma State. I don't think they were ranked, but they were, I think 2 years prior, Barry Sanders and those guys won 9 or 10 games, something like that. So they were above average team, that's for sure. And so we were ranked after the first week. And we did it for 12 years. So Billy's got a chance to do the same thing.
Yeah. And you said this before. You love the position that you're in when you're not ranked. And they don't know about your quarterback. And you go out there and show it on the field. That's why they jumped all the way up to 12. People were shocked. Were you that shocked?
Yeah, I was shocked. You got to realize we were 38 coming in. We weren't like 29 or something to 12 or 27. Yeah. We were 38. I thought we'd jump to about 20. That would be 18 spots right there. But to jump all the way to 12, that means the voters, they watched the game. They watched the game, and they felt like we're that good and can continue being there. Now, the other poll had us 19.
19, coaches poll.
Yeah, so 19 and 12. It's all on who's voting. Somebody said the other day that Stetson Bennett was the National Player of the Week, and Anthony was the SEC Player of the Week.
Yeah.
And I said, well, that's different voters, man. When people are voting, they don't all vote the same way. We know that. So that's nice to go all the way to 12 and 19, but there's so much football left. We'll have an opportunity to go all with our schedule. We'll have a chance to go to number 1 if we win them all.
Wow. Wow, that is a statement right there. A chance to go to number 1? Are you kidding me? Think about this. This summer, we're talking about this team, and everybody says, I heard Chris Doring say again tonight, 8 wins would be a terrific year. He, by the way, has not finalized his pick. Kentucky was a team he picked earlier, but now he may be changing it Friday. Went to see Chris tonight, the Ocala Quarterback Club, and spoke there. Did a great job, as always. And Judd Davis was there, too. So, Lauren Meadows and others. So, so I don't know about you. I kind of like being ranked up there. I think it gives them something to shoot at. It doesn't. I don't think it changes the way Kentucky's going to play or that they're putting themselves in peril by being ranked 12th. What's Kentucky, 20 or whatever they are? Look at it this way. It's 2 top 25 SEC teams going to battle. And I haven't picked a game, but right now I'm liking Florida. I'm liking Florida based on what I've heard, as long as there's no injuries in practice and things of that nature. And we don't yet know what Kentucky is going to put on the field. That's the thing. We'll hear from Tony Barnhart. He'll explain that as well. Just don't know. And they've been very secretive about their running back, Chris Rodriguez, who was the leading rusher in the SEC last year. So let me get this in here right now while I'm talking to you. Show you what I'm doing here again. For you folks who have an interest in being a farmer like me, this is my tree from my tower that I'm now growing greens on, and I plan to grow other things. And my daughter Laurie got me started on this. I love it. I can go pick off the fresh greens and make a salad right there, which I often do. So if you're interested in being a part of that, there's a way actually to make some money on it. You can DM me or go to buddytowers.com and check it out and find out about that, and then talk about what kind of great food you can make from that. As I've shown you dishes before that I've made. I'm not bragging. I just, we make some good, delicious stuff out of that. So check it out and get back to me if you're interested in buddytowers.com. All right, so we're going to go now. Let me remind you, by the way, and my producer makes sure that I remember this. Everything we do is driven by GatorBait. You took at the top right hand of your screen. Everything we do. We're going to make an announcement in a couple of weeks about another person coming aboard at GatorBait. Some of you would rather see videos, and we're going to do some upgrading and some expanding in that area. But GatorBait is really 45 years now, 44 years, whatever it is. They've been doing this, and we're revamping this, and we're going to bring on board another person to help us. You get good writing, I think, and you get some terrific pictures. You saw the video by Brendan Martin. I think 65,000 hits on that thing. Just a video of them singing "I Won't Back Down" in the stadium. So if you want to support us, 2 things. You can go on and hit some stars to us on Facebook. That's always helpful. Some of you do that. Appreciate it very much. And some of you are great. We're going to pick a star of the week, a Ren Star of the week, where the person who gives the most stars not only gets recognized, but goes into a drawing for a special prize as well. So that's what we're doing. GatorBait, Facebook stars, Buddy Martin Show, all in the same umbrella, all working hard, basically as a volunteer army. So whatever you can do to help us, we do appreciate that. So to answer a couple of questions before we get back on here from the ball, from Mr. Ball, Mr. College Football. Let's see. I don't know anything about the turf at Florida Field, Steve Spurrier Field. So if you've heard something that's news to me, somebody said, "What's the story of the turf?" I don't know. Yes, that's correct, Gene. I am a farmer now. Farm to table. That's what I do with those beautiful greens. Good evening to Quinny Quanda, Ramon Bernhard, Gene McClain, Michael Burton, Perry Mason, Jesse Cauldron. Thank you for the comment, Jesse. We appreciate that. Appreciate everybody supporting us. Also, Terry Johnson. Yeah, another sellout, Terry. You're right. Jesse Colgren's always got some informative stuff. Tommy Gunn's seal. Let's see what else we got here. Michael Burton, Whirlybird. Yeah, I don't know. I guess that's an accurate description. They called John Elway the helicopter move when he did it, but he did it on running the ball. So let's see here. Lauren Meadows, good to see you tonight at the Ocala Quarterback Club. They do a great job out there, and Chris Doring did an excellent job. And David Baldwin wants somebody here from Terry Bradshaw. Hopefully soon. He's had a few health issues. He's back on the air this week, and maybe soon we'll get a chance to talk to him and get his interest renewed in the Gators. Speaking of which, it's time. I didn't have time tonight. I was going to go ahead and baptize Chris Doring, who is a Gator, by the way. Nobody more orange and blue blood than him. So I thought about that, and I thought, well, how can I do this? And so I didn't get a chance to do it tonight, but this is what it looks like from I just got to say, two of the best ladies we got in Gator Nation Kingdom, and of course in Gator Bait, and they're going to tell you how.
Repeat after me. I believe in the boys and girls of Old Florida.
I believe in the boys and girls of Old Florida.
In all kinds of weather.
In all kinds of weather.
And I won't back down.
And I won't back down.
Sean.
All right, thank you very much. Jen and Marcia, we do a great job. Marcia will be up in the stands, I'm told. I don't know what her seat location is, and she'll be inducting people or baptizing people who want to become orange and blue bloods. Now, we don't have the plan set, but soon we'll have the announcement of how you can get involved. But once you say the pledge and chomp, you're in. We just got to figure out what we're going to do next. All right, so we talked to Coach, to the head ball coach. No, I keep getting much. One's Mr. College Football, and one is the head ball coach. And the guy who is Mr. College Football, of course, is my friend Tony Barnhart, who's been doing this for a long time, and talked about all things SEC. And won. It was a wild, wacky win in the SEC, although all the teams won but one. The results were quite surprising, as we know by hearing and reading, and now from the authority himself, Mr. College Football, Tony Barnhart. Hello, Tony. It's football season again.
It is football season, and I'm happy to see games, and we don't have to talk about it. But talking season's over, now it's playing season.
Out of all the things that happened over the weekend, what I can probably guess, what were the ones that surprised you the most, and which ones do you think were the most spectacular?
Well, I think the win by Florida on Utah, and a lot of people, and I thought Utah, or still think Utah is going to win the Pac-12, and with an undefeated record, they'd be somewhat of a dark horse. But I was very impressed by what Florida did. Was very impressed by what Anthony Richardson did. So I thought that was a great win for the Gators, and certainly a great way for Billy Napier to sort of kick off his career. I thought Georgia was very impressive. I felt that Oregon is a team that's probably going to win their division in the Pac-12, and Georgia came out smoking, played very well. I think Tennessee, it's going to be interesting to see what happens this week with Tennessee. I expected them to do what they did. And there really wasn't any other surprises. LSU was disappointing with the way they played. They were very fortunate to be in the game at the end with a chance to maybe tie it or win it. But so many mistakes, and Brian Kelly did not get off to a good start. No. But Brian Kelly's a very good coach, and they're going to be fine.
Yeah. Well, I think Scott Frost was once considered a very good coach, but things aren't going too well with him up in Nebraska right now. But the fortunes of football, as we know, we've been around, they do change a lot. Talking to the head ball coaches on the show tonight about this and about the ranking. I think it was quite a surprise that Florida went to 12 on the AP. They were 19 in the coaches poll. They went from 0 to hero, They were 38th in the rankings and 12. Now, you can take that two ways. It's a fantastic night for the Gators and the Gator fans, or maybe they're overrated a little bit. Tony, which one do you think?
Well, I don't think the Gators are overrated. The problem with the polls early on, buddy, is they're really not based. The preseason polls are really only based on a little bit of evidence. You've got how many people do you have coming back? Do you have your quarterback back and all that kind of stuff? But you really can't make a judgment until you start seeing people play. If you watch Florida play the other night, first of all, Utah's a good football team. That's number one. they won the Pac-12 championship last year. But you have to see some evidence on the field, and the way that Florida looked in that game, they had a clear identity of what they wanted to do. And that's why early in the season, the rankings don't mean a whole lot. Now, once you played 3 or 4 games, now you've got a body of evidence to build on, and that's what counts.
Number 2, we saw Georgia smoking, as you said, Oregon. We thought, is this a sign that the Pac-12 is not any good? And it turned out to be a case of the fact that Georgia was very good, and maybe the Pac-12 is a bit weak. But I think Utah proved itself to be a worthy team. They'll be favored the rest of the way, and very fortunate to win that game, Florida. I think the big takeaway from there is they can run the football. Their defense plays big on certain plays, and Anthony Richardson's a real deal. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that. And we talked about Anthony Richardson before. We know he has wonderful physical gifts, but the question is, could he become a quarterback who's much more consistent, who doesn't make a bad play after a good play? If he could become that, he certainly has the physical gifts to be a wonderful quarterback. So if you watched that game the other night, you said, you know what, this guy looks like he's got things under control. He just made really good decisions, which is a big part of playing that position. And so I think the Gators have gotten off to a really good start. I'm anxious to see how they play against Kentucky.
Let's talk about that game. Things are not going well for Mark Stoops. First of all, he and John Calipari have gotten to do it over the summer, and which is interesting. And he's right, I think, Mark. The revenue sport really is football. We know that now with the TV contracts. But now he comes to this game highly rated. He hasn't played as a favorite very often. He's not a favorite in this game here. But Mark Stoops is highly considered to be one of the best coaches now in the SEC. But now he's missing Rodriguez as running back, and we don't know what's going to happen. There are other players. Do you know any more about that? Because there could be multiple suspensions, apparently from the university. What do you know about that?
Well, he pled guilty to a DUI charge in July. I am told there are other issues, but I'm not told what those other issues are. Just that he was going to be suspended for multiple games. Listen, he's a leading returning rusher in the SEC. The guy's a very, very good player. They've got a number of other good running backs. So it's going to be interesting to me with the way they play on Saturday, because I think Will Levis has a lot of talent at quarterback. They certainly miss Wandale Robinson, the great wide receiver, but they've got guys who can do that. And so I think we'll learn a lot about Kentucky in this game on Saturday.
What do you think you'll learn about Florida?
Solid on both sides of the ball. Looked very efficient. They had a clear identity of what they wanted to do offensively and defensively. And what impressed me was they kept playing. Coach Spurrier says it all the time, that he always told his players, when things aren't going well, keep playing. And they every time that Utah looked like they might be taking control of the game, then Florida responded, and then they did what good teams do. They needed for somebody to make a play on defense at the end of a game to win the game, and they did.
And that's what really Napier told them. I just need you to fight. And they showed a really good clip from a University of Florida video, which was in the locker room. And I thought he really handled it well. We're still having a little Dan Mullen hangover down here. And a lot of people are afraid to buy in until they know more about this coach. And I've been saying all summer, don't fall in love with the first day. Let's see him at least coach one game. Well, we've seen him coach a game, and I think that the marriage proposal is due any time now. And this could be a really good long-term relationship with the University of Florida and Billy Napier.
Well, it's going to be an interesting beginning of the season. That was such a big win. You want that immediate validation when you're starting to build a program like Billy Napier's trying to do. And to play Kentucky, South Florida, looks like they're struggling. I think they'll be fine there. Then all of a sudden you go to Tennessee and Knoxville. Isn't it nice for the Tennessee-Florida game to be
mean something?
Must-see TV again. Yeah,
it is. And I really kind of like Tennessee. Of all the whole bunch in the East, I like them over Kentucky because of their quarterback and The defense is spotty, but he's a good coach, and I like that football team. How he's developed them. But we don't know what Tennessee is yet. We don't know really what even Florida and Kentucky are. There are some interesting games, and just supposing Gator fans are saying they beat Kentucky, they're 2-0. Tony, this business of somebody picking them 6-6, and the fact that they were not ranked and kind of ignored. Some people are going to have egg on their face. Probably me too a little bit because I didn't expect this, but this could be something fairly spectacular for the Gator Nation.
Well, you certainly got off to a good start, and that's what. And you look at the elements appear to all be there for Florida. Now what you've got to do is you've got to follow up a big win with a conference opponent who's been playing you tough for the last few years. Kentucky's. It's amazing, buddy. It wasn't that long ago that Florida had a 31-game winning streak over Kentucky. Remember that?
Yeah, I do well.
And Kentucky has come back and has played Florida tough. So I'm anxious to kind of see where that game goes.
Yeah.
But let's just say they take care of Kentucky. They beat South Florida. They go to Knoxville. They can win that game.
Mm-hmm.
Eastern Michigan comes up. Missouri, LSU. The Gators could go on a real nice run if they could take care of Kentucky and Tennessee coming up in the next 3 weeks.
And Coach Spurrier on the program tonight said, look, they're at 12. They could be in the top 5 in a matter of a few weeks. It's all there. He doesn't believe in the theory that you take the ranking and you get it, because it's a long way to get there. He knows he had to bring his team up back in the 90s. So I think what you're talking about is right, though. I think on the internet, they tell you when you're trying to sign on, and they want a 2-step verification. Always want to give you, give us the name of your firstborn and whatever. Yeah, I think what Florida's looking for is for a 2-step verification. They got the first step. If they beat Kentucky now, they're not going to be competitive with Georgia or Alabama, but they're right there knocking. And what's happened is in the process, recruiting is suddenly beginning to buzz around here. Not that they're really showing interest in Florida. Now suddenly some 5 stars. It's a game changer, Tony.
No, it is. And the thing about it is, if they take care of Kentucky, South Florida, you'll be fine. Now all of a sudden, the Tennessee game in Knoxville becomes a benchmark game.
It really does.
When people look at the East Division, Georgia looks in pretty good shape. But who's the second best team in that division? A lot of people had Florida fourth. Okay,
they did.
Tennessee, Kentucky, and Florida. And now all of a sudden, Florida's in this position to beat Kentucky and Tennessee in the space of 3 weeks. That would be huge.
Amazing how things can change so fast. They say it's the most important time for a team is to improve between game 1 and game 2. So we'll see. Georgia looks like they're unbelievable again. Stetson Bennett playing lights out. They're loaded with talent. You see any hiccups for them Bulldogs along the way?
I don't. I was there on Saturday and was very impressed. Not only that they won 49-3, but the way that they won. They put the game on Stetson Bennett's arm, and he did. It was the best game he's played.
Yeah, it looked great.
And that includes the national championship game and the game against Michigan in the semifinals. Yeah. This is the best that he's played.
Tony, it looks like a Tony Barnhart book to me if I ever saw one. But anyway, finally, Alabama is Alabama. We don't see any weaknesses yet, but it's a long year. We saw one last year we didn't expect at wide receiver. I don't see any other way than saying Alabama, Georgia in the SEC championship game right now. What about you?
I'll be very surprised it's not Alabama and Georgia, because they are, Nick Saban's in his 14th, 15th year. Kirby Smart's in his 7th year. Those men have had time to build programs, and they've done it. They've done it very well. But Georgia's a very, very talented team, and it's going to be, they're going to go up to South Carolina next week. Georgia's a better team, but I've seen some good Georgia teams go to South Carolina.
And not this time.
And struggle.
Not this time.
Yep.
No, not going to happen, I don't think. I know what you're talking about. And we used to struggle with South Carolina. Well, in the back of the day, that was always a difficult time, difficult place. Final thing, over under on Nick Saban's retirement. I'm going to call Vegas. I got to think it might be 83. What do you think?
Well, he's 70 now, and he shows no signs of
Really,
slowing
he's
down.
gonna be a long time.
And as long as he can recruit at this level, you know what happens is that when you've been at a place for a long time and you're injured, you know, people start recruiting against you, and but coaches, you know, if recruiting doesn't slip, if recruiting slips, the coach knows it. He will know it. He will know it before other players know.
No doubt.
Other folks. And when you start to slip in recruiting, you see, no, it's when Bear Bryant did not get Bo Jackson. That was that was the end for him. He knew when he got beat by Auburn on Bo Jackson that it's probably time to go.
Mr. College Football, on the way out, I'm headed out to see Chris Doring at the Ocala Quarterback Club. I'm going to see what he picks. But I want you to give me a pick if you had to make one during the week. What would be, if you're betting the ranch this weekend, what game and what teams would you pick?
I like the Florida. I like the Florida Kentucky game, and I like the Gators by a touchdown.
All right, Gators by a touchdown. Hey, I may go do that now that you told me. Now, if I'm in the poorhouse, can I come stay with you in Atlanta?
Hey, if I knew anything about picking games, as my man Wes Durham says, he said, there's a reason those guys in the desert drive nice cars and live in big houses.
Sure. No doubt about it. Tony, it's great being with you again. Good talking to you. Looking forward to reading your stuff. We'll talk again here in a few weeks, hopefully.
All right, buddy. Take care.
The great Tony Barnhart bringing it. Appreciate it, Tony. All right, thanks to Tony. And we did have a technical issue this afternoon. We recorded that. And it did sound like he's in the phone booth. But some of it was on his end, some on ours. I think we're good to go now. We've had to battle those demons, but we're okay. And standing by in the green room. In just a minute, we'll get to David Moulton, who's always got something to say. He, of course, has a morning show. I'm at 5 stations now. Miller Moulton, he does a really good job on other shows that he does. He, of course, works for the NFL this year, I think, and next, and does college football and a lot of stuff. David's a knowledgeable guy. I always love having him on. Before I bring him on, I'm going to tell you one more time about our sponsors of the Green Room, where we're going to find David in just a couple of minutes. Our friends over there, we're very proud to be. First of all, we're customers, and we can tell you firsthand that I get so exasperated by some banks. You know, sometimes they don't pick up the phone. You call them. You get somebody in New Orleans for a local bank. You can't get them. They tell you wait in line. We'll call you back. They don't call you back. You have an issue you got to deal with, like I've had, not at this bank, and you go nuts. You're just getting your debit. Somebody hacks your debit card. There goes a nightmare. There goes 3 days right there. So I love the people at Main Street Community Bank because they're so good at stuff like this. Got my guy Joe, and of course my friends Tom and what have you. So if you want like a smaller bank, one where you kind of know people and know you, I encourage you to check out Main Street Community Bank in downtown Ocala, an independent FDIC insured, locally operated, full service bank offering a broad range of financial services. They pride themselves, like I said, on their people and how they treat people. Of course, their mission is to serve the financial community with exceptional personal service. So check them out. Go visit them in North Magnolia, beautiful downtown Ocala. Main Street Community Bank. The Ocala Community is our middle name. Sponsor the Green Room of the Buddy Martin Show. In just a moment, we'll be joined by, I think David might be in early tonight. That'll be good. We'll just jump right in there and talk some ball with David. I wonder what he thinks about the ranking of the Florida Gators in the AP poll. A lot of people talking about it, including the head ball coach. So say good evening to David Moulton.
How are you?
I'm good. Don't do that. Don't do that to me because I've had audio issues all day, and no, not again. So yeah.
Sorry.
So, yeah, David. Nice to see you, and hope you had a good day. And I know you're going to be able to drill down and pick some winners this weekend in the college card. And first of all, where will you be with the SEC?
I have the weekend off. In fact, I'm moving to Jacksonville this weekend.
You're not.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah, family is a family move, if you will. Daughter went to college there. Daughter got married there. Daughter got pregnant there. Daughter had a grandchild there. Wife looked at me and said, I'm going to Jacksonville. What are you going to do?
Wow. Well, I think that's, Like I told my wife when I left the New York Daily News and I took a job in Colorado, and my wife loved her house and said, "I don't want to leave this house." I said, "Okay, that's fine. You just got to figure out how to pay the mortgage. I'm gonna go. I'm taking a job." So that's what happens. But that's wonderful. It'll be a good time for you.
So I apologize for the echo because this is literally my second to last night in our house that we've been in for 20 years. So it is empty.
Is it emotional?
No, not at all.
Well, I mean, look, the echo I had before today with getting Tony Barnhart on, this sounds great by comparison, okay? So
all right.
Good to have you. So much to talk about. Boy, if we could roll
First
back.
First off, that's as enjoyable a game as I've watched as a fan in a long time. We were in San Diego,
right?
And we were watching the Gator game because our game was over right when the Gator game started, and we got back to the hotel pretty quickly. And I watched damn near the whole thing because I was taking a red eye. And, it wasn't leaving until about 1:30 in the morning Eastern. So it was so enjoyable to be able to sit down, watch an entire game, a terrific game.
Yeah.
All right. And then, obviously the dramatic ending. And it was just spectacular.
What was your favorite part? What's the play that Anthony Richardson made that you went, wow?
Well, actually, it was the combo of Napier and Richardson when it was 4th down and a long 2, and they're trailing. And Napier had the composure and the confidence that we're going to score, so I'm just going to let this play clock wind all the way down. When everybody, and even the announcers were like, oh, what are they doing? And Napier's like, we're good. And at one point, Richardson looks over at him, and Billy's like, we're good. Don't worry. I know what I'm doing here. Okay. We don't need to keep all this time on the clock because we're going to score. So I want to leave them as little time as possible. And that, to me, the combination of coach and quarterback in that moment, both of them keeping their calm, both of them doing their jobs. And, if you're a Gator fan, I don't know how. And then, finally, the defense made a play. When's the last time the defense made a play?
Yeah.
I mean, you probably got to go back to, at least to 2020. I mean, they didn't make a play at all last year. So
fourth down. This was the Georgia game. They had a goal line stand.
Yeah. And so, there was just so much about it. I mean, obviously, they're still a work in progress. The defensive line, I thought, got whooped for large portions of the game. Utah ran on them. There was no pressure on the Utah quarterback on the final 2 drives of the game. So obviously, they're not a top 3 team in the country. But that's a great win. That was awesome. And it was a great night. There were so many good college football experiences week 1. Imagine what happens when you pit good teams against one another, games that fans want to see. It's a remarkable concept.
What do we talk about all summer? You and I talk about it. Give them a game.
I mean, wow. It's amazing. The places are sold out everywhere when you give them a game, and then the games are good. Wow. Somebody should think about doing this more often.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it was an amazing night in the swamp. I was there, and I will say that I've been to, as you know, a lot of games there.
Sure.
The crowd was the star of the night. Well, the offensive line was the star, really. Anthony Richardson as well. But the way he was handled in the game he was called, that Billy gave him the call, was terrific and beautiful. Talking to Shane agrees with me on that. Or in fact, he said it. But the moments were special. There were a couple. Yeah, go ahead.
Can I? And I'm going to be a jerk here, which is part of my
That's
charm.
okay. We're used to that.
Right. And so, with as special as Saturday was, and as awesome an atmosphere as this Saturday is going to be, why are we playing the Georgia game on our neutral field again? I mean, that's literally
David,
no.
You're not gonna pull my chain on that one.
No. Why?
No.
Why do you want to play the game not where Saturday night's games
Oh,
are
well then,
played.
hell, let's just play them all in Atlanta then, all season long. I mean, come on, David. We're not going to go this argument again. Chris Doring tonight, heard him speak. He talked about that, how special that was.
Yeah.
Times there. He said, by the way, he played when they played on campuses. He played both games in Athens and in Gainesville. He said, nowhere near comparison because only 5,000 people could get tickets. He said, just isn't the same. Now, there are a lot of little nuances of that game that those of us who've gone there know. And I owe nothing to Jacksonville. It's going to be your hometown, by the way, pal. You better start sticking up for them.
And the game should be. Listen, I have no problems. You want to do the neutral thing, but once every 4 years it should be in Gainesville. Once every 4 years it should be in Athens. I think Saturday night proved that. I don't know how anybody defends not playing that game every other year in the Swamp after last Saturday, and then what's going to happen this Saturday. Why in the world would you only want it where 40,000 of those 90,000 people can get tickets to the Georgia game?
Why
it's
would
not
you want
just as special? How can it be as special when half the crowd's rooting for the other team?
Okay,
Anyway,
David,
I'm
you're
sorry.
right. You're right. You're a jerk. So let's get that out.
I am a jerk.
Yeah.
I know. I'm sorry.
No, I mean I know the argument, and as I talked to Doring when I was tonight, I've talked to a lot of people. There's arguments for both things.
No doubt.
In the end, to me, when you can give 40,000 Georgia fans and 40,000 Florida fans a chance to see it every day, it ought to be played. It's a tradition, and it's been done. We're now. You're sounding like the people who want to throw out everything with the baby with the bathwater.
Not at
Get
all.
rid of tradition. Let's do it all differently now. Whatever.
Nope.
You know.
I
so
just-
well,
I
they're going to
just
have
wanna
a
alter
chance if they're a good team to play some on campuses. They're going to see some good play. If you're good, you're going to get to see special teams come to town. But I mean, look.
Well, the one thing I will say, buddy, this 12-team playoff may actually lead to better scheduling.
Yeah, it will.
Because now, like Utah this year, most people think they're now done after losing to the Gators. In the future, if they schedule a game like this and they happen to lose a tough one, well, they've still got everything to play for. And so my hope is, like Tennessee's doing something this Saturday that they haven't done forever. I mean, they're playing an ACC team on the road. A true road game, even though they've got like half the ACCs within a 6-hour drive of them. Okay. But, I mean, these games are good. I mean, this Tennessee Pitt game is one of the 5 best games of the weekend. I mean, Baylor's going to BYU this weekend. Now I know beginning next year, it's going to be a Big 12 game, but I mean, I'm hoping that the sport, and I think the 12-team playoff will go a long way to let's give us the matchups, thank you, Lauren.
There you go. You're losing them like
shame.
You're a North Florida. You're a North Florida guy now, and you're losing like crazy.
I will be.
Yeah,
I will be.
So you got one of your most loyal fans there. Turn it on you, buddy. That's what happens.
I understand.
I try to tell you. So.
I know. You try to protect me. You
Yeah.
do. On my own, we're sending me. That is
anyway,
true. But
it isn't gonna
West
make any
Virginia,
difference,
Pitt, Florida, Utah. Games that we got this first week, and we're going to get a handful again this week. And you know what? Good. Sport needs
But
it.
you know what? Now that you said that, let me call out a few people. Some crap games. All right. I mean, look, you get that opening weekend. We had a wonderful weekend of games. Just terrific. Shows you what they can do when they want to do it. And if you look at the SEC schedule, and you see there's really only 2 games, maybe 3, the max. The rest of them are powder puffs. And they're going back to the same old crap again. If I'm a season ticket holder, I don't want that.
I agree.
If you want to have more games, get rid of those cream puff games and play real football teams. And so
I agree.
So we're just anyway. We're not going to get off of this tonight because we're not going to settle the issue of this. Now let's get back to the question I asked you when you jumped on me.
Okay.
And I said, what moment play did you think, or 2, taking away from that game, which was terrific, the crowd was unbelievable. Did you see the comments by the Utah people on Twitter?
Mm-hmm.
They raved about it. I mean, there was
Yeah,
three
well,
or four
hell,
of
they
them.
haven't I mean, the only game that is like in the area code that they've ever been to is the, the what's it, the Holy War? with BYU.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, they haven't been to a game. I mean, last year's Pac-12 championship game, atmosphere versus the Swamp on Saturday night. I mean, come on.
But David, it went past that. That was just part of it. They raved about being treated so nice. They raved about Anthony Richardson. One poster said, "I'm a Gator fan. I'll be rooting for him all year long." I mean, they could not be. I mean, it's like a recruiting poster. I swear. Said.
And I was a part of the Georgia Notre Dame series, and both fan bases reacted the exact same way towards the other. I mean, this type of thing is good for college football. It really is. I think Gator fans want. It's exciting to go on the road and support your team in a good game, a big game that everybody's going to be watching. That's exciting.
Mm-hmm. They keep coming in, David. It's not good for you, okay? Just want you to know.
Well, I mean, I hope people are doing this a little tongue-in-cheek.
I better drive you up there. You better let me drive you up there. I can get through the gates and I can wave the white flag. You'll be safe.
By the way, I have experienced the cocktail party every year since 2006.
Yeah, I know.
All right, so I have experienced it.
Anyway, they're turning on me now too. So, all right. So was there a moment? Again, I'll ask you the third time.
No, I answered it. You don't like the moment. No. But the reason why that was big to me, that was a pressure situation, and the coach. I mean, he's in the SEC now. Yeah. He's making, a crooked number is the first digit of his 7-digit contract. And he was coaching like it was, I've been no big deal.
Yeah, it was very cool.
I've been here before.
I found go ahead.
And he said to Richardson before the final drive, listen, we're going to win this game. Let's just do what we do and what have you. And I just thought everything about it. The calm and the composure from the quarterback, but the coach was even more calm.
Yeah, I would agree with that because I wrote down a notebook, got it right here, and I thought, when is going to be his first scared money don't make money moment, okay? And what happened, I watched them go downfield on the first drive, and I looked at what they were doing, and I thought, you know what? They're struggling. They might better kick this field goal. Now, that's not my nature normally. When they could get some points, they got it after the fumble, 7-0 Utah. I'm thinking, well, maybe it's time. And they lined up and they called timeout. I went back to the huddle and I came on the field on 4th down and 1. And Billy called the play. It was great. I thought he scored. He was out to 1. Johnson. I want to tell Johnson. And I wrote down, okay, that's his first scared money don't make money moment, and he passed it with flying colors.
Well, to me, the fourth quarter was more meaningful than anything that happened earlier. So, that's. No,
I said the first moment. First moment.
Okay, I get it, but I mean, first off, there were 37 moments. So, the one that impressed me the most was the final drive. And
why I got to explain everything to you I do in triplicate so you understand it. I know there were big plays. To me, the first big moment, as I said, was going for it on 4th and 2 when they were needed a score. And I would say, well, maybe they ought to kick the field goal. Look, I grew up on Spurrier. He didn't kick field goals, right? But at that moment, I'm thinking, well, maybe this is the time. And he, of course, shut me up. And then there were other moments. There were other great moments, particularly the defensive play, and particularly the 2-point conversion in my book. I talked to Coach Spurrier about this today. If it's possible to have a Heisman moment on an extra point, that was it. That was an incredible play.
Well, I agree with that. If he is a Heisman finalist, that is going to be the highlight. It's difficult to imagine even if he produces 50 more touchdowns this year. And I know it was just a 2-point conversion, but I mean, I've never seen anything like that before.
Yeah,
that was remarkable.
It was. So now, even Spurrier said tonight, well, many fans are this. Nervous, we're too high. We can't have this, and they're scared. They're unhappy because they weren't ranked and they got ranked. We're going to lose the game. That's how fans are. And God bless them. Let them have their moments. Spurrier put it pretty well. He said, in a couple of weeks, they could be in the top 5. Think about that. And they could have beaten, I'm not saying, I'm not projecting or picking. If they beat Tennessee, if they win Saturday, it sets up a whole bunch of other stuff. As I said earlier, it's like on the internet when you do 2-step verification. They got the first one. To get verified, they got to win against Kentucky.
Well, and remember a couple of weeks ago, and you were saying, okay, what's your prediction for Florida? And I said, well, they look like a 7-5, maybe 8-4 team. I said, however, that quarterback could be really special. And if you look at their schedule, seemingly half of their games are 1-score games either way. And if you have a special quarterback, you end up winning those games. And now all of a sudden you've got a 9-10 win season.
Right.
How did Ole Miss produce a 10-win season last year? Next thing you know, they had a special quarterback. So they were winning all the 1-score games, So, now you're right. You think, well, hell, Kentucky's another 1-score game on paper. What are they, about a 6-point favorite? And so, okay, if they can take care of business and win, you're right. They'll be 3-0 going to Knoxville. By the way, Tennessee may not be 3-0. I know they're a 6-point favorite at Pitt this weekend, but that's
I don't know. I don't know about that game. I think I might have to take Pitt in that game. They look really good, especially on defense.
Yeah, and not only that, they now think they're a good program. Remember, they did win the ACC last year. I mean, they now think of themselves differently, and I credit both teams for playing the game.
Right.
But this is no walk in the park. I mean, Baylor's an underdog going to BYU this week. USC's, the point spread's going down every day at Stanford. USC almost always loses at Stanford. I mean, we got some sneaky games here in week 2. Alabama, Texas, not going to be sneaky. But we got about 4 or 5 really sneaky little games.
Yeah, we do. All right, so how about the FSU story? I mean, look, I know Gator fans hate to hear it, but there's a fact, and you know this because you're a historian. The things are going well when all 3 teams are winning. It's the big 3, and now you got Miami who's better. I know this is not a fan's perspective, but for me and for you, we know when the big 3 are winning like they did last week, including 2 upsets, football's better, and as Chris Storing said tonight, more kids stay home, stay in the state. So I don't know. What's your take on that? You do some Miami stuff. What do you think?
Well, I don't know how many games the Gator fans have watched of the Noles in the last 5 years, outside of when they play Florida. But Florida State's been a mess. They've been a train wreck. There's been no other way to describe it. And quite frankly, buddy, they've been embarrassing at the line of scrimmage. I mean, staggering when you consider what Florida State was for so many years at the line of scrimmage. And Florida State, and granted, there's not a great LSU team or what have you, but I mean, come on now, LSU's got talent. They're a mess, but they've got talent. And Florida State hasn't had any talent on the offensive line. Florida State's had limited talent even on the defensive line lately. Florida State won the game at the point of attack. Florida State hasn't done that very often in the last 5 years against Power 5 programs that have a reputation of any kind. Florida State looked like the better coached team, and Brian Kelly can coach. But Florida State looked better coached. Florida State won special teams in a big way. Florida State didn't turn the ball over. I mean, Florida State played a good, solid road game and won a game they were not expected to win. And that hasn't happened very often since 2016. So, I agree with the pollsters not putting them in the top 25, by the way. And I don't really care about the polls in September. But that was a really good, buddy, I've taken heat in the last year. I think Norville's doing a better job than most are giving him credit for. And I was glad for him and the program that 2.5 years of hard work, inheriting one of the 5 biggest dumpster fires in the sport, paid dividends Sunday night in New Orleans.
Yeah.
I
Well-
still don't think they're better than a 8-4 team this year. Okay, and I think that Florida State's best against Florida's best. Although, by the way, it looks like the big three, buddy, all have quarterbacks.
They do.
When's
I like
the last
I like
time?
Travis. Yeah, they got some big bodies too, by the way.
Yeah, and when's the last time at the same time the big three all had quarterbacks?
Yeah, that's true, and it's wonderful to see. Football is so much more fun when you got a quarterback. Now, let's be honest. We've seen Kyle Trask, who's a very good player, but this guy is so exciting. Spurrier said today, somebody told him he runs like Lamar Jackson and passes like Tom Brady, which might be a little bit of a reach, but man, this guy is something to see, and I can sit back and just watch him play all the time. I don't know who he reminds people of. And people say Cam Newton. I say no. I saw Cam Newton. I saw him in Florida when he was there. He was never this good at Florida as AR is right now. And probably the one person who most accurately nailed it was Greg McElroy. He said he reminds me of Vince Young. There's a little bit of Vince Young in him, I think. Don't you?
I was never enamored with Vince as a thrower. I actually think Richardson, I like him throwing the ball a little more even than Vince Young, but obviously what Vince Young did in 2005 was historic. I mean, Cam's 2010 year at Auburn. I understand Gator fans don't like the Cam Newton who was in Gainesville, but the Cam Newton who was in Auburn, I mean,
no doubt about it.
That's an amazing season.
But let's wait and see how good Richardson is if he plays 4 years, which you no doubt won't. But I mean, think about him when he gets to play. Well, how good can he be?
Well, hell, if he can even just play next year.
And by
I'm
the
a
way,
Gator fan right now.
Well,
I'd sign up for 2 more years of Richardson right now.
But get some NIL money out there and get him a couple of million
Damn
to
right.
stay around for
A Gator collective better go do some collecting.
Exactly. Pass the hat, man. Let's go.
Yeah, right.
He is special, and as you know, we've talked about it all year. People are tired of me saying this, but it's true, and I've called them out for doing it. These people kept doing quarterback lists. Even you said, buddy, you can't put him on your Heisman list. I said, I didn't say Heisman list, but don't give me 10 quarterbacks the best in the country and not mention him. I know better than that. My eyes have to tell me I'm better. And people who did that and basically disrespected him and named 6 SEC quarterbacks that were better. Are you kidding me? What the hell were you smoking?
Well, we laughed at that when we saw that Saturday morning. We laughed. We're like, what are they talking about? Okay, I mean, at most, I would have put 2. At most, and that's given the benefit of the doubt that the kid at Kentucky, because he's played a full season. But obviously, if you had just observed 15 minutes of Richardson, you knew that his ceiling, the only quarterback in the SEC who wouldn't be blown away by Richardson is Bryce Young, and he may go first overall in the draft.
Yeah. By the way, what was the line about Michael Jordan at North Carolina? The
only person who could hold him under 20 was Dean Smith.
Exactly. And so Dan Mullen and his QB last year, the only guy could hold Anthony Richardson under 1,000-yard season was Dan Mullen. I'm not playing him. I still don't know why he didn't play him. I thought he was hurt for a while. I don't know. I guess he believed in the other guy, and and he was loyal to him. So I don't know. All right, David, wrap it up for me this weekend. Give me a couple of picks I can bet the house on, and we'll get out of here and get you back to packing for Jacksonville.
Well, I'm actually going to take BYU's at home as a 3.5-point favorite against Baylor, and I'm going to take the Cougars against Baylor. I think this is a tough spot for Baylor, and I'm going to take Pitt in the 6.5 at home against Tennessee.
I am too. I'm taking that one for sure. Yeah. Did you pick Kentucky?
And I'm going to take the Gators and lay the points as long as it stays under 7. I would lay up to 6.5 on the Gators against Kentucky. Love the fact that it's sold out again, and I think that they can respond this week. I do think there'll be a huge letdown against South Florida. It wouldn't shock me if they're sluggish and they don't look that good. But I think that the Gators will not have a letdown and not be full of themselves after Utah. I think last year was very sobering for those guys, and they haven't forgotten it that quickly. So I think the Gators will play well again this week.
I'm with you. Last time, I don't know the lines. You follow them. Last time I saw was Kentucky was 4.5-point underdog. Is that correct?
I thought it went up a little bit with the threat of suspensions, but
we'll check that while we look at that while I'm telling folks about.
I've got 6. I've got it at
-6?
-6 right now.
Maybe somebody else is on. Where's Dan tonight? He always does the line. Yeah, so I thought I saw it 4.5, but I don't follow that stuff that closely, and I should, but I don't. But I'm with you. I'm taking Florida. I made my pick officially, but I'm going to make it tomorrow night.
And even though I'm betting Pitt and the points, there's a part of me. Wouldn't you love to see 3-0 Florida at 3-0 Tennessee on September 24th?
Would I ever? I would. I'm with you on that. Making it 4-0, right? Florida. Yeah. So I would love to see it. And we talked about it tonight. Tony Barnhart. It'd be great to see that game meaningful again, and that would be wonderful.
Well, and I have a feeling that game, no matter what happens this week, even if they both lose, I think that game's going to end up on CBS at 3:30 that day. The only other game I think that would knock it off would be Arkansas A&M at Jerry's World. But Florida and Tennessee rate better.
Yeah, good SEC game. We love that. David, It's a pleasure to have you on. Good luck on your move. Okay.
Thank you, buddy.
I'll get my tribe out there to meet you on the interstate and escort you to Jacksonville. My boys.
I was going to say, I have a feeling I'm going to get pulled over by one of Duval County's finest. Okay, and I'm going to say, "What, officer? I wasn't going too fast." He goes, "No, but I heard you're the fat blankety blank and the cocktail party." And
yeah, there is a place you got to be careful going through if you go up to Jacksonville, like Lottie is one. But anyway. So let us know how things go. Good luck to you and your bride, and look forward to have a great weekend. Enjoy football. Always love having you on, David. Thank you very much.
Well, and thanks, and I appreciate the grief, everyone. Keep me in line, okay?
Well, listen, it keeps you humble, man. I get it all the time, so I figure you ought to take a dose of it.
Now, I will say, when you're married 26 years, being humble is not a problem. But, we could do it with college football, too.
Yeah, try triple than that, okay? We'll see how it works out. So, all right, David, thank you very much, buddy. Appreciate it.
Have a good
Great David Moulton. I like him, and he's a good guest. He's in Florida. Look, everybody can't be a Gator cheerleader. We don't want that all the time. We like them to respect the Gators, but we want people who have honest opinions and good information, and it's okay if we're contrary to it. So, anyway, look, Perry, I see what you're saying. Nobody's fought harder for this than me, but you got to move on past this Florida Georgia thing because it's 2 years more in Jacksonville, and you got a special team right now to get behind. By the way, how about taking your pledge? Marshall will be in the stands on Saturday, and giving you the orange and blue blood. If you want to be an elite fan, not for everybody, an elite fan, be an orange and blue blood, and we'll tell you how you can do that. So, all right, folks, thank you. I want to tell you about my friends at Rentstar. It's a special group of people, and they've supported my show for a long time, and I do appreciate that. They also support my hometown, and they're looking after our health. There are things you have to deal with. I'm looking at stories about, they do studies all the time. They did one on migraine headaches. They did one on psoriasis. They did one on lots of them. And you can be a part of these studies, by the way, if you'd like to. They did one on even something called hidradenitis suppurativa, chronic skin disease. So they're doing these studies, and then they take that information and they send it out to the companies that do this kind of thing, and their clinical research, and they send stuff throughout the medical industry to make better treatment, so we can get all of us need it at one time or the other, whatever. This particular one on psoriasis has been our subject of discussion this week, And if you have it and you have what is called plaque psoriasis, then you are eligible to apply for the the clinical trial coming up where they'll do some testing and you can be a part of it. You get compensated for it, by the way. Your time and travel, and it's a good group to be a part of. So if you have any interest in being, you have been diagnosed with plaque type psoriasis, have no other major skin conditions, between the ages of 18 and 75, you get to see a dermatologist at no cost. You get trial medication, which is the key here, and you receive compensation for your time and travel. So give them a call if you want to know more about it. 352-69-5800, 352-69-5800, or you can also go to online at rentstar.net, and they will tell you about what you need to know. So, anyway, thanks to the folks at Rentstar, seeking tomorrow's answers to the health questions of today. We'll say good night. Thank you to our guests. Coach Steve Spurrier was up first. Tony Barnhart in a phone booth in a tunnel, as someone said. David Moulton, who ticked off some of you because he's talking about Florida, Georgia. Give the guy's opinion, will you? He's entitled to it. And, of course, all our fine sponsors. Thank you very much. Have a great night, folks. We will talk to you tomorrow night. It's the Gator Collective. We got more of Coach Spurrier. We'll have Bob Redmond on tomorrow night, France Beard, and your favorite, Ben Troop, tomorrow night on the program. So check it out tomorrow night. I'm Buddy Martin. Have a great evening.